like many people who've risen to great fame in the business, you were an NBC Page.
That's right. You weren't, right?
I was not an NBC Page, no.
But Regis Philbin? That's his name?
That's his name now.
Philbin.
Sorry, Philbin.
Regis a name that will live in history. Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin was an NBC Page, I believe. But you were an NBC Page. I think when I was doing Late Night, you were an NBC Page.
Yeah, you were. You were. And you know what? Because, the way I got my SAG card, I don't know if you know this story, but the way I got my SAG card is because I think I either was a Page or I had just like left the program, but I kept my uniform, which you're not supposed to do. And I convinced the guy that shot the pilot for 30 Rock, he directed a lot of the 30 Rock episodes. Yeah. They needed a Page to do a tour of your studio because they were shooting on the floor of your studio or something. And I knew the speech about your studio. I was like, and welcome to the thing of Conan O'Brien. And I would make up stuff, but I don't remember what I said. But because I knew the spiel, I was like, just let me do it. I was like, I can do it. And then he threw me in on camera and I did it. And because I had a line, the SAG union rules.
They had to give you a card.
Got right into that union.
This fascinates me because there were Pages that worked at 30 Rock, obviously in real life, and they would do tours of my studio. And I remember accidentally listening once to one of the tours, and everything they were saying was not true.
Yeah.
And this one Page that I was listening to, this is not you, was saying that the stars in the back painted on the wall are there because Conan has long been a huge fan of astronomy. And I was like brushing my teeth in the hall, and I heard this, and I went, "What are they talking about?" Okay. No, it's late night, stars late at night. That's all it is. And people in the crew were going, and this person wasn't doing a bit or anything. That's just was a piece of misinformation, like a game of telephone that had been passed on over 9 different Page generations.
Sona talks about this in her book that when she was a Page and gave tours, she was just lying about stuff.
But there was a game that the Pages, and this is like whatever, I don't know if they still do this, but there was a game that all the Pages would play where you would go, okay, I'm going to give you 3 words for your next tour, and you have to incorporate these words into your speech at some point, and it has to be believable. And the words were always insane. I mean, maybe it was like penguin or whatever, and then you'd be like, and this studio is cold because 10 years ago they had penguins on the show, and they had to raise the temperature, and then they never changed it or whatever.
And that's real. You did tell tour groups that...
I did say something about penguins.
Yeah, because our studio was cold, and the reason it was kept cold was because of all the lights in the ceiling.
Right.
So that once you get an audience and you turn the lights on, temperature goes up like 15 degrees, so you have to keep it artificially cold so that it's comfortable once the show is going.
But also so people don't fall asleep. Not that they would.
Oh my God! They lied to me about the light temperature.
No, but it's not like
that's also why they electrified the seats.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
No, but
number 3C is falling asleep.
No.
Zap. No. I mean, right. No one could. If I were performing, no one could fall asleep.
You gotta keep them awake.
Well, that was what I always heard about Letterman, is that he liked the studio cold because it kept the audience on their toes.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be warm, but I didn't necessarily want it to be cold. It's
That's
just,
nice of you.
I know, good guy.
It's very cold in here right now.
It is freezing in here, but that's for a whole different reason. Oh. We store government surplus meats. In the back.
That's how we pay for all
Yeah, that's how we pay for everything. That's a side business of ours.
This is like one of the most terrifying rooms I've ever been in.
What are you talking about?
It's just weird, dude.
Just because there are pictures of me all over the place with no shirt
cameras?
on?
This is an audio thing.
You were in the forest with child skulls.
I know. I love anyone who was like, come to the forest. I have the skull of a child. Wow, this podcast studio is creepy. What a creepy place.
It's weird. Skulls. I don't know.
It is not weird. It's a beautiful deep
of gadgets
blue.
And stuff. Whatever.
So, whatever.
Whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you want.
I got to do this. So you lied on the tour and told people things about me that weren't true. Yeah. Did we have any interactions? I don't know if we did.
No. I was way too drunk to have the confidence to talk to anybody.
I noticed when I first was working at my job at Late Night, Pages would scurry past me and seem kind of nervous. And I remember talking to one once, and they said, I was told not to make eye contact with you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
And I
God.
found out that was a holdover from like the past, but I need eye contact a little too much. I love chatting people up. I'm constantly chatting up.
You're doing it right now.
I know,
It's
I'm
making me
sorry.
uncomfortable.
I love eye contact.
No.
And
Stop
yeah.
There were a lot of things like that. I think that's what made that, at least at the time that I was in it, that's what made the Page program kind of exciting, because there were so many holdover, like weird, just like weird things like that you would have to do or know, and you felt kind of, even if it was weird like that, you felt like, well, like part of something.
You have to, but also I've noticed that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but once you became a known person, sometimes there are people that say things on your behalf that you don't even agree with.
Yeah.
And you find out later, well, we were told before you came that there was to be no mention of donuts because, and you're like, what? What are you talking about? And it was someone not playing a prank, but someone who was well-intentioned, who misunderstood something, telling people beforehand. And then you realize how much of this is going on around me where people were told, whatever you do. Gourley, were you told before you met me?
I was told to engage in conversation about astronomy with you.
That's why I gave you the job, because it's a fascination of mine. That's why I covered the studio with
Clearly, and we're in like a fucking spaceship right now.
It's not a
A bunch
spaceship.
of lasers pointed right at my dick.
What? It's a
Sorry.
blue. That was very charged and erotic.